music is good.
It's like gives me a good feeling all day.
It's great music.
Don't hear the same song a lot. Love 97, your favorite adult radio station. It's a
Maritime Matters is brought to you live by Bahamas Maritime Connection.
What is maritime?
Maritime, simply put, relates to navigation or commerce on the high seas.
Some say money makes the world go round. I say ships move the money that make the world move.
Who navigates those large international ships?
How often are international ships required to be surveyed and inspected?
Maritime also protects our seas and borders by way of our local Bahamas Defense
It is
Force.
very sad to say that out of 1,500 plus ships that are registered under the Bahamian flag, only a very small amount of Bahamians are employed.
Maritime Matters.
I wouldn't be going on for 5 minutes.
Flamingo for fuel to Inago must go.
stand ready to hit the banks. There's great anticipation from men of all ranks. Today, this will be our lucky day. An arrest, no doubt, will come our way. Lookouts are stationed all around the ship, while the raider man watches for that elusive blip. We're again off Ragged Island, combing the banks. We love our jobs and need no special thanks. To serve our country is all that we ask. Brave young Bahamian men, fully committed to a task. This day is Sunday, the 10th of May. Oh, gloomy, dreadful, fateful day. Would to God you could have forever be wiped away. Weary is my soul from the weights upon it lay. I have a contact, the radar watch shouts. It's 5 miles away and bearing due south. The skipper is summoned out of his cabin, while Flamingo leaps ahead as more power is given. The boarding party all assembled is standing by, all fully equipped, weapons pointing to the sky. Go forth, brave souls, your duty calls. Stand tall, each one, whatever befalls. As mighty Flamingo steams nearer and nearer, the contact we see grows clearer and clearer, until by the light of the blazing sun we could see a fishing vessel from some foreign country. A feeling of joy now descends on the crew, for what we first thought was one is now confirmed as two. 2 arrests now instead of one to be made. 2 arrests will now to our credit be laid. Both vessels are now fully in our possession. We've only to wait for the crew's confession. All in all, it has been a productive day, and very soon we begin again to be underway. Hark there, fellow Marines, from whence comes that sound that seems to permeate the air all around? Wait, look over yonder, look to the sky. Are they not military aircraft that pass us by? Look again, my mates, they are coming around, flying low over the waters with a thunderous sound. Can someone tell what is the meaning of this? Will fear now overtake our early bliss? Oh, brave young men, strong Bahamian sons, your time has come to face hostile guns. This day will be recorded in our Defense Force story as the day young Bahamian sailors achieved eternal glory. Captain, my captain, we are now under attack. Those aircraft which first passed have now come back. See the bullets now piercing Flamingo's sleek side. What shall we do? There's no place to hide. The crew is assembled and Coral Harbor Base is now told of these tragic events as they continue to unfold. Alas, we must now abandon our ship, and soon under the waves she began to slip. Captain, look over there. They're now shooting in the water. Surely they intend our young men to slaughter. I hear even now a sailor's pitiful cry. Oh Lord, I'm hit. Please don't let me die. The aircrafts at last have gone away, leaving strong young men in shock and dismay. And as some semblance of order is brought to the scene, we cannot account for 4 brave young Marines. Austin Smith, Fenwick Sturb, Edward Williams, and David Tucker. Wherever you may be, may your soul find a sweet succor. You served your shipmates and country for many long years, and many will be the days of your memories with tears. Oh, Bahamian mothers, on this Mother's Day, I pray that God wipes your tears away. Your sons have gone down into the deep, but our God in heaven their souls will keep. And now in their honor, young Bahamians strong and free step forth with pride to save their country. So to the survivors of Flamingo and to those heroes who died, a grateful nation gives it thanks and pray God be your guide.
And welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. Whether you're listening via radio wave on 97.5 FM, via internet on the app TuneIn Radio or similar, or via cable Bahamas channel 951. We appreciate you and humbly welcome you to our show. We now encourage you to check out our new YouTube page at Maritime Matters Bahamas. Here you can listen to all our previous shows at your own leisure. So feel free to hit us up on YouTube, page Maritime Matters Bahamas. The voice that you are now hearing is that of yours truly, Captain Glenwood Alexander Bain. Most people refer to me as Captain Bain. Some get rather formal and simply call me Mr. Bain. Of course, my family and close friends know me simply as Glenn. This is show number 14, people, and this is the month of May. The month that we suffered our most tragic maritime event so far in the history of our country. The bombing, destruction of HMBS Flamingo. So please, listen up as we engage discussions on this most intriguing maritime matter topic to date. The bombing of HMBS Flamingo, the 4 Marines that were killed in the process, and the burden that the 15 survivors had to endure in the aftermath of that tragic incident. We're going to discuss details from the beginning of Flamingo's deadly voyage to her eventual destruction by Cuban fighter MiG jets. So buckle up, folks, and join us on this sobering and most informative revelation into HMBS Flamingo, her final voyage. You will hear from a guest tonight, very, very special guest, who's one of the 15 survivors of that fatal incident. He'll be calling in from a family island. And ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a great show. Our sponsors for the night show are One-on-One Pharmacy. Listen, people, you don't know. My good cousin Shantia Hill McBride and her lovely team of One-on-One Pharmacy workers. You can fill your subscription at the store or send your refill via the online site oneononepharmacy.com. The 2 locations are East Street South and Charles Sanders Highway. When you walk in, you'll be treated with utmost respect and royalty. Say hello to my good cousin Stephanie. Stephanie and I grew up in Roll Avenue. She Rosedale Street, I Apple Street. Barefoot running up and down, teeth and fruits of people's yard. You've come a long way. So just let Stephanie know that you were sent there by Maritime Matters, and she will take great care of you. We are also sponsored by Bahamas Maritime Connection. Again, as always, you don't know. We provide a full slate of ISPS maritime security services. Thirdly, we're sponsored by Totally Secured Security and Investigation Services. They are headquartered 8 Mile Rock, Grand Bahama. For all your security guard duties, call my good friend Andrew Sturrup at 819-8944. He and a certified security team will see you straight. That's Totally Secured Security at 819-8944. To the listening audience out there, it will be remiss of me to go any further not introduce my wonderful producer, the man that just brought to you the 21-gun salute, the last post, and of course, that beautiful poem read by my good friend, one of my mentors, Captain Godfrey Rule. So here's the man of the hour and the man with all the power, the one and only Craig Gibson. There you go, Craig. Thank you, sir. You're listening to Maritime Matters, people. On this show, we talk maritime. Maritime Matter is weekly at 19:30. That's 7:30 p.m. every Tuesday here on Love 97 FM. Purpose of this show is to highlight persons that made significant contributions to the maritime industry in the Bahamas and to sensitize Bahamians of opportunities in the maritime sector. As always, halfway through the show, we will open the phone lines. Number to call in would be 326-8255. That's 326-8255. Meantime, allow me to revisit some of our existing local maritime matters. There's no change in the Genting Hong Kong group. The Crystal Symphony and Crystal Serenity still under arrest off Freeport Harbor, and some of their ships from the Genting group, Genting Hong Kong group that is, have already been sold for scrap. So these two that we have, of course, they're not going to scrap those because they are very, very good ships, good cruise ships that are high-end, and, they can get a good sale for them. So they would be eventually sold by the courts. Secondly, we have the sinking of the tanker Tropic Breeze by the super yacht Utopia 4. Again, that's a couple months back now, and we still await the completion and the release of the investigation report. Thirdly, we continue to await the outcome of the investigation surrounding the tragic sinking of the small vessel that took the lives of 39 persons while transiting from Bimini to Florida. So there, current maritime matters in a nutshell. And as always, we want to highlight our 5 maritime standouts of the past. May their souls continue to rest in peace. These celebrities are, of course, HMBS Flamingo infamous skipper, Senior Commander Amos Roll. And again, this is the month of May. We remember Amos Roll on May 10th, 1980, was the man in charge of the HMBS Flamingo. He was the one that kept his crew together. And, of course, some of them still living today. So Amos Roll, again, one of our maritime celebrities of the past. We have Port Control Extraordinaire, Mr. Leon Flowers. Again, he passed quite recently. Mr. Flowers was the port controller the Bahamas would ever know. We have our sloop sailing king, the one and only Captain Raleigh Gray. Man with his own song, you're gonna Raleigh Gray your boat. And finally, we got our 2 Olympic gold medalists in sailing. That's the Star class sailing sloops. So Derwent Knowles and Cecil Cook. And may all of their souls continue to rest in peace. We move now to the international front. And again, I reiterate my views on the current conflict that is dominating the maritime world feed, that is the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Russian occupation and control of Ukraine continues to look inevitable. Mother Russia withdrew attempts to take Kiev and focus on bombarding the Donbas region, which they has already taken occupancy of numerous cities in that area. We would have heard reports that the port city of Mariupol is now in the hands of Russian troops, as many locals sought to flee for refuge. So it appears now that the strategy to take over that entire eastern region, the Donbass plus the next eastern half of Ukraine, is progressing. Eventual invasion of the populous city of Kharkiv seems on the horizon, and the entire east half of Ukraine will be occupied by Mother Russia, thereby positioning their troops to quash Kiev via the northern and southern approaches. So I continue to have the view that when it's all said and done, Russia will fully occupy Ukraine and not leave until a leader of their choice is in place. Another thing dominating the maritime feed, the largest container port in the world continued to receive grave negative impact due to the COVID-19 lockdown. Yes, the citywide lockdown of the 26 million residents of Shanghai remains in place, and it continues to spread in the entire country of China. So this lockdown continues to wreak havoc on the world container trade operations. Now it has been reported that Omicron is really taken over to even the capital city of Beijing. So we got the month of May. We got reminders of the HMBS Flamingo and her 19 crew members that were unjustly attacked, viciously attacked by, I call them military aircraft. Aircraft really designed to fight during the wartime. And not only that, they attacked the Flamingo while she was on a routine patrol of the southern Bahamas. This attack was a peacetime, a military attack in peacetime situations. That's serious stuff, people. We need to get to the bottom of this. I still say, we need reparation, not only for this Flamingo incident. We need reparation for families, children, grandchildren of many, many persons who are killed in the line of duty while they are serving and working for the state. These are not people working in their private companies or working for, wealthy people who probably have them well insured. We're talking about our people that works for our government, which is us. When they are doing their job and they are killed by virtue of trying to do their job, what happens? Nothing. They're buried. They're given one couple dollars to say we're going to triple your whatever, your national insurance, this or that, because you were murdered or whatever the case may be, and life goes on for the rest of us. What about their families, people? I recall to memory the lady that we had known as Nurse Lunn many years ago. She was just carrying out her duty as a nurse, and there was an attack on a hospital, and she was killed by gunfire. What happened to a family that depended on her income? Did they continue to get her income? No, they didn't. I don't know if she had her own personal insurance and all the rest of that, but what did the state do to this employee of the state that actually, while working in the line of duty, was just slaughtered down? We're just going to say, oh, sorry, that's a sad situation. Yes, but what reparation did her people receive for the loss of that family income, the loss of all of what she represented? I say that in situations like this, and we have many, the state should give on each incident at least $1 million in addition to anything else. We can't replace people, we know. But those people were giving their whole life for the state and for their families. And it was just taken away based on them working for the state. Come on, people. Let's wake up. Something needs to be done. I remember my good cousin, my wife's cousin, Sergeant Melinda Pratt. Linda used to be a prison officer. And then eventually, she joined the police force as a reservist and worked her way from constable all the way up to sergeant as a reservist. And then they decided she's going to go back to her hometown in Lutra, where her family is from. And, she continued working as a sergeant in the police force. And she was on the beat one night. And, they gave chase, and her partner gave chase to the suspect. Suspect ran off the road and pulled over and ran into the bushes. Of course, her and her partner pulled over, and the partner gave chase while she stayed with the two vehicles. And what happened to Linda? A passing by car. Of course, it's night, it's dark. We know the roads in Eleuthero are very long and hilly, and this car somehow just rammed into the police car. The police car then rammed into Linda, and she lost her life. Linda's such a beautiful person with her two daughters and a litany of grandchildren. And what happened to the income that she was bringing to her family? What did the state do to replace the loss of my cousin, Melinda Pratt? Absolutely nothing substantial. Again, At least $1 million, people. At least $1 million. When persons working for the state lose their life in this type of way. At least. And then we get some people who are making sacrifices for the states, in sports in particular, going to the Olympics, representing this country. And in some cases, they're winning a gold medal, singly or team-wise, and causing the Bahamas flag to raise while the Bahamas national anthem is playing in front of the entire world. They sacrificed their whole life to get this. For themselves, of course, but for this country. And what do they get? You buy them a little piece of property, a little bit. That's foolishness, people. We need to wake up. They should get at least $1 million per. Do you know how hard it is to qualify to get to the Olympics? Let me tell you, but I played with the Bahamas national team volleyball for 7 years. It was hard to even make the regional championships. It was hard. We went to Nausicaa once, but to actually qualify to go to the Olympics, we had great players like Russia Cartwright and Oral Hudson and Mario Dane and Joe Moss. But we had great players on the team. But we were not able to even qualify for Olympics. My good friend O'Neill Williams, for the past 8 to 10 years, O'Neill was living in Kenya, training with the Kenyans. He wanted to run, he wanted to qualify in a distance event for Olympics. O'Neill, in his quest, has thus far broken the national record in the marathon 3 times. Now, you know, the marathon man from way back in the day hold that record for years and years and years. And then, of course, my good friend out of Freeport break the record, I guess, about 15, almost 20 years ago. And O'Neill came back. And that would have been Delroy Booth, by the way. Delroy Booth broke the record. He held the record for many years until O'Neill started to focus on the marathon event and not the middle distance that he ran, or the 5K and 10K. And he broke the record a couple of times. But guess what? O'Neill has still not set the mark to make the Olympic qualifying time. This is how difficult it is to get in Olympics, people. Not just to get in Olympics, but you can imagine you get in Olympics and you got to try to win a gold medal, stand on that podium, what you get for it. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, she's so good. Oh, he's so good. No. We need to do something bigger than that. At least $1 million a time, eh? And I say, when people are faced with unfair attack, military attack on a sovereign country without military power, they should be getting more. I say $3 million per person anytime something like that happens for their families. Anyway, I don't want to run too hot. So I make the 19 roll call here for those great men, one of which is going to be our call-in guest for the night. And we start off with the ones that were killed during the incident. Able Seaman Fenric Stirrup, Austin Smith, Marine Seaman David Tucker, Marine Seaman Edward Williams. Those are the 4 that we're going to name. We're going to put a big plaque around that Coral Harbor roundabout, and each one of those streets leading out of that roundabout will be named after one of those 4. Sometime years later, we lost another 4 of the 19 crew members. Wilfred Sands, when he left the job, he was a sub-lieutenant, but, we call him Cool Breeze. Wilfred Sands passed away. Then, of course, Oscar Dusty Miller. Now, we got a lot to say about Dusty. Dusty also passed away. By the way, Wilfred Sands was one of the 2 people that actually got in the inflatable Avon, and until dark fell, they were actually looking for the 4 men that went missing. Fenric, Austin, David, and Edward. So he, along with another person, actually did that. And then we lost Leo Kirby. Leo Kirby and I were very close. I knew his family. I knew we sailed for almost 2 years. Very good cook, very good person, very knowledgeable. It's so unfortunate that we lost Leo so early. But again, reparations. What did we do for these people? And then most recently we lost the general himself, former senior commander, Amos Roll. And then we got many more. We got senior people like Captain Anthony Allens, people like Captain Whitfield Neely, Peterson James, Gregory Curry, Denzel Clark, Trevor Sands, John Wallace, Willard Sanders, Anthony Russell, Eugene Blue Thompson, and Cladwell Farrington. We're talking maritime, people. Welcome to Maritime Matters. At this point, we're going to move to our first break, and when we return, we will engage tonight's most special guest.
Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Sanders Highway location. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting to eat come, watching the ships roll in.
And welcome back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to Maritime Matters. Okay, so you hear me running on and running on and running on. These things run me hot when they think, but how we Bahamians who are working for the state, and I had many years of that. I was faced with debt numerous occasions. And to think that nothing? Come on, man. Anybody who get killed in that kind of condition, that family shouldn't have to worry about them for long, to worry about anything for a long time, because financially they should have been sorted out. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I am pleased to introduce tonight's guest, hailing all the way from Hatchet Bay, Lutra. This cat, ladies and gentlemen, is an amazing individual that played quite a pivotal role as radio operator on board the HMBS Flamingo during her fatal last voyage. Here sits a brother that has, in true fashion, survived the horror. He was projected to the mountaintop where he wrestled down the Buddha Dane and chewed on the beetle nut. So brace yourself for a highly informative and sobering military maritime discussion. I present to you tonight a true achiever, the soldier that wrote the book, Because of May 10th, the Flamingo Incident. My good friend, the brother that looked death dead in the eye and said, "Get the hell out of here, death." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cladwell Farrington. Brother Cladwell, we are highly happy.
Good night, sir. Good night, Bahamas.
Good night to you, my friend. How are you?
Doing fine, sir. I mean, I was a bit taken off when you did that 21 gun salute and all that,
Yeah, Cladwell, I did that last week, and that's a very, very sobering. And we can have another piece of that tonight. But that when people die for the state, it's only fitting. It's only fitting, my brother. So we are so happy to have you join us. You're calling in, which is very good. You're going to be with us all along. So let's get straight into the getting to know who is Cladwell Farrington.
Before you really get started, if you don't mind, I just want to open in a prayer. I always...
Brother Cladwell, I know you're a great church man, and guess what? I welcome it 1,000 times, my brother. So let us go right ahead, and please do lead us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, for bringing us together on an occasion like this, I just want to give you thanks and praise for all you have done for us. And I just want to thank Mr. Bain for seeing fit to bring me on his show tonight, and to Love 97, and to you, the Bahamas, and the world. And Lord, we pray that whatever be said and whatever be done on this service tonight, that you will get the praise and you alone will get the honor. Okay?
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Yeah, amen, my brother, amen. I was just, Cladwell, you are a very steeped, religious person before and after that incident. I read your book and I realized that you were very always holding on to the Lord in prayer, holding on to the Lord in faith. And, I congratulate you for that, my brother. And I also want to mention here that my good friend Denzel Clark has also became, since leaving the Defense Force, a great pastor. And, he's deep in the faith. And I'm sure you're aware of that because both of you are from the same hometown of Hatchet Bay, eh?
Three of us. Myself, Maynard Miller, and Denzel Clark.
That's right. So you were actually born there in Hatchet Bay, Cladwell?
In Allenstown.
Allenstown, you said?
Yeah. But the old area is called Hatchet Bay. From the southern we live is Allenstown.
Oh, when you said Allenstown, my mind went on Bimini. But I didn't even know we had Allenstown in Hatchet Bay.
Like I always say, there's two Allenstown, but there's only one Hatchet Bay.
That's correct. I am with you on that, my brother. And you also grew up in Hatchet Bay, or did you part of your upbringing came up in Nassau?
My entire life in Hatchet Bay till I got 18 years old, 3 months, and 15 seconds when I moved to join the Defense Force.
Wow. Oh, man. So you real island boy coming in just to join the Defense Force?
Uh-huh.
So who are your parents? Who are your parents and close family and friends? Anybody when you care to mention from Hatchet Bay, sir?
95% of the persons in Hatchet Bay is my relatives.
I would have thought so. And why did you choose to join the Royal Bahamas Defense Force when you got to that age?
My parents, both of my parents were Farrington. My father was a pastor. My mother became a pastor later on in life after he died. Sister was a pastor. My entire family, Christian people. Most of the people in Hatchet Bay are Christian people.
That's correct.
We grew up knowing about prayer. Every home in the afternoon will have prayer. 6:30 in the evening, every house you pass in Hatchet Bay, you will hear a prayer going on.
Oh, so that's why you was the praying man on board the HMBS Flamingo.
Talking about it, when that incident, I had to rely on my mom to intercede for me. That's something I going to call on because at that time, I wasn't a Christian.
Wow. But you were still a praying man. You came up in prayer. You came up with prayers all around you, so you always had that prayer protection.
And I had to ask the Lord for forgiveness for myself, but I prayed the Lord for her to intercede on my behalf,
Okay. So during your time in the Defense Force, did you have a mentor? Was anybody in the Defense Force that you saw as a mentor, Cladwell?
There was two gentlemen, Island Johnson and Alfred Tanquist.
Alan Johnson. This on the island or this in the Defense Force?
He's in the Defense Force. He was in the first entry.
He what entry were you in, Cladwell?
I was in the second entry.
Oh, so you looked up to one or two persons from the first entry.
And he had that built. Dr. Sick.
Yes.
Looked well in his uniform. Always.
Right. That is very good to know. And
Peter Judge, they were the first two officers, and Tanquist, my Lord, he had that military
presence.
But everything going for him.
Yeah, he was one of my mentors as well, because when I first came back in from Dartmouth, you watch Ken Turnquist and you see a model officer, And while there were quite a few of them, Turnquist, like you say, he was steady. He always stood out, and yeah, he was a good mentor to have. I'm happy to hear that he was your mentor. So, other than the Flamingo bombing incident, what would have been your most memorable Defense Force moment?
I remember it was a time when we had a group of Cuban fishing boats up in the Keysal Banks area.
Right.
I think they were putting up a resistance.
Oh, really?
And we had to fire warning shots across their bow.
Oh, how many was it? 2 or 3, or how many Cuban boats was on the Quezal banks when that happened?
It was 7 of them, you know.
Oh, it was a whole heap of them. Yeah, well, you know, we could talk with those Cuban boats, but they all look alike. They all ferrocerium, some number. So, you know, they worked for the Cuban government back then. And prior to us having such an expansive defense force, I think those guys came into our waters and they were comfortable to just take what they want and leave.
But they said was out of Florida.
Yes.
These were American Cuban fishing boats. And somehow one of the bullets ricocheted.
Right.
And it grazed one of the young boys in his head.
Right. Was that the Great Isaacs incident?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I remember the Great Isaacs incident where they said the young Cuban-American was grazed.
But the father did, instead of him trying to give the boy some assistance, he lifted the boy's head and he was crying. But why is he crying? He hitting the head on the back of the boat, you know?
Oh, he was trying to make something big out of something that were not so big.
He was probably his way of grieving, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
And the main thing I will never forget, and we first put on our white number 1 uniform, and we went on to Clifford Park.
Right.
First time the Bahamas Defense Force hit Clifford Park, my Lord.
Nothing but snow cones, white and beautiful.
Everybody going crazy, man.
I heard about those days. I had some times on Clifford Park, and you know, it was always said that, oh, the police look good, but when Defense Force come out, you know, the police only could be co-stars, eh?
You had to run to the boat, man, because the girls was following us all around Bay Street.
Oh, you all had the girls run. Boy, and you wasn't saved then, right?
I said that they were following us. I didn't say we take part of it either.
I agree. So that's beautiful for you to bring up, because you know we so far away from those days, we kind of forget, because I don't even know if Defense Force, if they have that annual parade the way they used to, when they had so many police and so many Defense Force and all the other uniform branches putting on such a display. So, did you have any boating experience before you joined the Defense Force?
Well, you know, back home, there was a gentleman.
Right, okay. So you went fishing and that type of thing in small skiffs?
He was a builder and made this skiff. Right.
Okay, so you was no stranger to the sea per se. I mean, you didn't go out or cross an ocean and stuff. But you went in boats.
Scull. I was. They didn't have the best sculler on Eleuthera.
Oh, you was good at sculling. Wow, that's excellent news, man. I see why you joined the Defense Force, because you already had a head start.
I wasn't afraid of the depths of water. You know, I always challenged that. How I learned to swim, I jump in the bowl and hold to swim. I tell the guys if they see me getting ready to drown, then come for me. But I jump over and I swim. You was just a strong swimmer. That's very good, and thank God for that, because you know. In situations which you guys went through, you needed another handful like you. So when did you actually join or become a crew member of the HMBS Flamingo? I don't recall the date. You know.
Okay, but it was a couple months before that last voyage?
Yeah, we were there for probably a year before that happened.
Yeah, because in your book you mentioned that you went to Eleuthera because I think Mr. Preston Albury had passed and they had a by-election. Did you go on Flamingo or did you go on another vessel?
I was on the Flamingo.
Oh, it's the Flamingo that went to Eleuthera for that. Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was two. You went on a different vessel and when you came back they said you need to go on Flamingo. Oh, so you was basically on the Flamingo from all the way back, which is very good. The Flamingo, as you know, is only 2 years old, so she was a brand new boat. So was the Marlin, and oh, what an unfortunate situation. So according to your book, you know.
Maynard, myself and Denzel, we wanted to go and behave our parents.
Right, and the skipper didn't allow you to go all the way up to the north.
Very upset.
You're breaking up a bit, Cladwell. I'm not following you all the way.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. You were saying that you wanted to go from the ship up to Hatchet Bay.
Yes, but he wouldn't permit us.
He figured I was too far. You know, Eleuthera is a very long place.
Man, we were known on the island. Once we get on the road,
You were good.
it was all right.
Well, that's true. And that's a good thing about the good old days on the island.
I recall, Andy Gibbs from the Bee Gees. He had a yacht boat, Shadow Dancer.
Shadow dancing.
And no one could have fixed the boat.
Oh, okay. He was actually in Eleuthera with his yacht?
Yeah, Cape Eleuthera. Let me tell you how people overlook people, Dusty. Dusty go on to that boat. No one could have fixed the boat,
Right. Dusty was a very good mechanic.
Dusty, I go on. I was walking down the jetty and I saw them, everybody looked distraught. So I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Man, we've been stuck here for days. We can't get a boat started." I said, "Well, yeah, okay. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back."
Yeah.
I said, "Dusty, look here. Come fix this boat. Don't let me down now. Depending on you. Only for us to go down to Hatchet Bay with. You can rent a car."
You was trying to get some money to get home.
Right.
Wow.
I there with a lie. Dusty going on there in about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Dusty had the boat. I see smoke come out, and Dusty had that boat running, that yacht boat running.
That is it.
I said, "Dusty, where we straight now?" I said, "How much you charge?" I said, "Man, I had nothing to do. I just charged him $50. I said, "Dusty, charge a man $50, that man's a millionaire."
Well, back in those days, $50 was a lot of money, I'm Cladwell.
Yeah, I mean, $50, no bad. That was 1980.
But you could have rented a car for that.
I couldn't rent no car for $50 on Eleuthera.
In 1980? Man, 1980, $50. Today, $50 is not even like $10 back in those days. But it's good. Dusty was very knowledgeable.
He probably knew what he did. He probably didn't have much to do. I guess his conscience wouldn't allow him to do it. I mean,
Right.
I had to respect his conscience.
Okay. So we almost are way into the show, Cladwell, and then we need to open up these lines soon. So before I do that, I want to give you the opportunity, uninterrupted, to explain in your own words the details of the events from the instant the MiG jets appeared on site till when you landed safely in Nassau from your perspective.
I mean, now, or you want to come off the break?
No, I want you to go right into it now, and I even ain't sure we could be able to take no break right now, but you could go into it now, and then I'll open the lines, and then we'll take a break sometime later on if you could fit it in.
Yes, well, it was a nice, quiet Saturday evening.
Yes, sir.
We were first at Ragged Island, and we were about to go to shore. Everybody had on their fine clothes and uniform, I should say. Tucker and Wallace had their bottles because they wanted some drinking water.
Right.
But Wallace couldn't move because Wallace was on a little punishment. He had to clean the brass on the boat.
That's John Wallace.
Yeah.
My good friend.
So when Tucker heard the news that we're not going anymore, he was so upset,
Yeah.
And on our way, Mr. Rose said, they pick up 2 boats on the radar, so we're going to check it out.
Right.
So we continue on. We gave chase, and they didn't stop right away. They ran about at least 45 minutes.
Also, it took about 45 minutes before you, upon catching up with these vessels, before they actually...
Getting near to them,
Right.
So Mr. Roll, he tell Denzel Clark get a boarding party and get ready to go, and we get closer to them. But in his haste to do this, Denzel Clark was lowering the dory down with the chain ice, right? And the boat flipped.
Whoa! Yeah, because he was still on the way on the Marlin, on the Flamingo way.
You're talking like 30 knots. So.
That's right. Yeah.
And Denzel, to avoid from going under the ship, he had to let the SLR go.
The self-loaded rifle, the weapon.
Yeah.
So he lost his weapon in order to not get pulled and sucked in.
Well, that didn't sit well in Mr. Rowe, right?
Oh no! You don't lose government issued weapons.
So we get them after. Then we go up in the front there and instruct Tucker to put a couple shots across the bow. Tucker did that.
This from the 20mm cannon.
Right.
Right.
And he put a shot in one of the engines, and they stopped.
Oh, he actually dismantled one of the engines using the 20mm.
I couldn't say for sure if it was one of the engines, but I know we get them to stop. That's
Okay.
the way it is.
Yeah, only after the gunfire, they stopped.
Right. So at this time now, it was time for me to relieve Smith, Austin Smith.
Right.
Because me and Smith worked the shift together.
That's the radio room.
Right.
Correct.
When I go on down there, he was reading the Testament with Luke.
Oh, so Smith was a religious fellow.
Yeah, I guess, sometimes people say it's divine intervention or something like that.
That's correct. You met him reading the Testament.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was the last time I saw him.
Right. And you took over from him and you stayed in...
But this time, too, we realized that the folks on the fishing boat, they already called into Cuba.
Right. They radioed in.
When I took over the radio, they had me to try and make contact with Nassau. Tell them, well, we get the Cuban make just buzz overhead.
So did the buzz happen before you took over in the radio room or after you took over in the radio room?
Before.
Oh, so you saw the mix before you went to take over from Smith?
Right.
Wow.
He came up and I went on.
And you told the base, or you made a call to the base?
Yes, I was able to get a call in. But I didn't tell them actually what happened because nothing had happened as yet.
So
we figured, we in Bahamian waters, we home.
Yeah, we used to this.
Nothing's going to happen. We're not at war.
Yeah, and you wouldn't dream that these people would actually attack a patrol boat.
Right. Then Curry came down. Chief Curry came down.
Right.
And he helped me try to make contact with the radio, the guys in the Cuban planes, right?
Yeah, because he was a technician. Right. He was a radio technician on board.
Right.
Right.
And he put on the squelch and he tried to get a clearer tone and whatever the case may be.
So he tried to communicate with the Cuban MiG fighter jets.
Yes. And we tried to make contact with base too.
Right.
Those Cuban fellas are so sophisticated, they probably could have scrambled our radios.
Well, they could have. I'm sure they could have done that from those MiGs. Yeah. Wow. So he was unsuccessful in trying to make radio communicate, or they didn't respond.
No, they didn't respond. No.
Yeah. Well, again, they may not be able to speak English, but even still, they should have heard somebody trying to reach them.
And they know a military boat when they see it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you went in the radio room. You tried to make those attempts to make contact. No contact was made, and then where did it go from there?
I sitting in the chair.
Right.
Seriously trying to make contact or see what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
And man, out of the clear blue, all I hear is loudest sound I ever hear in my life.
Wow.
Everything tumbled down on me. Those radios, those hot radios, film, smoke.
Wow.
This big gashing hole on the side of the boat itself.
Yeah, but you now in the radio room and you heard this loud sound, and people need to understand that the radio room on the 103-footer, you actually went from the bridge downstairs.
Right.
So you below deck.
I'm below deck. I'm the only person down there.
That is correct. And then you just hear this loud sound and your whole rack of radios just came tumbling over you.
Yeah. And I just listening to Mr. Whitfield Neely the other day, I just realized that I was one of the intended targets.
Yes, they wanna knock out your communication. This is a war tactic.
Knock out the bridge with the captain can.
Once you knock out the communication and the control center of a ship,
and you hit the engine, the boat is disabled.
That's it. You're sitting duck.
Only could be God.
Yeah. So
get out of that yet.
So how did you get from under all those radios? They fell on you?
I tried to figure it out up to this day. I don't know how to get out of that.
Wow, boy, I don't mean to laugh, but I could imagine you don't even, all you know is you got out.
I got out, and the guys came running down to where I was. So I told them, I say, they only got to go back up. There's nothing down here. Everything down there was dark and smoke and fire. There was nothing down there.
So they trying to get away from the upper deck to down below.
Yeah, they thought something was safe down there, but it wasn't nothing.
And you trying to get from down below because you heard the big noise and everything falling apart and melting around you, and you pushing them back up.
Well, I know one thing. I guess I would have been fired if Mr. Roll knew I was the first person overboard because I popped my legs. I mean,
Cladwell, you're making me laugh.
Well, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah. So
I At that time, on a serious note, though, I was praying. I was praying furiously. I said,
You
Lord,
became you remembered your prayer background.
Yeah, please don't let me die. You know, when you see death in front of you, trying to get everything out at one time.
That's right. That's right.
I
That's
was
right.
crying. I was scared, and I said, Lord, don't let me die. Don't let me die like this. If I die, I know I go to hell. Please forgive me for my sins. And I said, Mommy, please pray for me, Mommy, please.
Wow, when your mama heard you, boy, because I know she was digging deep into prayer and making sure her son was saved.
But it is nice dress for Mother's Day.
Right.
Nice dress.
So Cladwell, so you made your way to the top. You actually caused them fellas to turn around, or they still try to get down.
They run back up.
Okay, and then you just dash straight in the sea?
I took, we had the boots down, the high boots.
Oh yeah, you had to take the boots off.
I grabbed the boots from the bottom part of the boot strap to the top, and I popped those laces straight off, and I jumped straight overboard. Everything on.
Wow! So you were able to get the boots off, but once you got the boots off, you hit the water.
I was the first person to reach to the ship.
Well, you got to remember too now, Cladwell, you're a very strong swimmer.
Yeah, but not only that too, we had to dive for our lives because we riddled the water with bullets, and you could feel the heat of the bullets and
everything on the water. So how far away was the captured craft from the Flamingo?
About 100 yards.
About 100 yards. The two of them or just one?
Two.
You all had them in tows yet, or y'all were trying to rig them to be towed?
Thank God we had our men. I think it was 2 persons on each boat.
Yeah, you would have already established control by putting 2 armed men on board each vessel.
And through all that, I saw when Mr. Whitfield nearly got in one of the dories, and he was trying to pick up persons.
Out the water?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you basically swam and you made it to the boat, and you...
I was, as they reached, I would try to lift them up.
You was helping the other fellas as they reached to get on board the fishing boat, the captured craft.
Right, sir.
Wow. Okay, and okay, so all of them eventually, you got them. They got them all out of the water. You on the captured craft.
At this time, we saw this person still up on the bridge.
Right.
The fire extinguisher trying to put the fire out.
Still on the Flamingo?
Yeah.
Wow.
We kind of found out Mr. Rowe, but the boat was still being hit at this time.
And that was Amos Roll was still on board.
Yeah, the big jets were still hitting that boat. They didn't stop hitting that until it sank.
So Amos was the true captain. I mean, they said the captain should be the last one to get off the ship in disaster. You know, some captains would have been like you. They'd have been the first off. Yeah, I know. A lot of people need to understand the kind of leadership exuded out of Amos Roll. And people, how could he be one of the... they don't understand why we call him the Führer.
And he had himself under pressure pretty good,
Yes, and thank goodness for his leadership.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was still on board, and you was able to see him dive off, or?
Mr. Neely went to get him, and brought him to the boats where we were.
So Obi Neely was he in the Avon inflatable from the Flamingo?
Inflatable.
All right, because those two fishing boats were already in tow at the time, or you didn't actually? Yeah. They were already in tow.
They wasn't in tow, but we had them under our control because we had our men on them, and each one of them had their SMGs.
Right. So they were following the Flamingo. Right. Oh, okay. So Obi went and
when he got Mr. Roll onto the boat.
Right.
And Mr. Roll, he mustered the crew. And then that's when we realized 4 persons was missing. And that's when everybody break down. And so I said to them, when we saw the helicopter and the different equipment coming towards us, I said, fellas, let's pray,
Yeah, it's time to pray.
So we prayed. And at this time now, we trying to get the boat on the way.
Yeah, because I read somewhere in my research where I think Commander Roll had instructed that the life rafts be launched from the Flamingo. You had the inflatable life raft, the life raft that are in the cylinders.
It's a good thing he didn't do that, because they would have riddled that up anyhow.
Yeah, well, I've read that they actually shot up the life rafts so that you guys couldn't get in them.
Right.
So you had no choice but to go to the captured craft.
Yes.
And dark was falling at the time, eh?
Right.
So
at this time now,
And there were bullets still being reeled in the water as people were swimming.
Uh-huh.
So
this time now we are trying to get on the way. The boat engine is running. But
right.
the boat couldn't steer.
Right.
The boat just keep going round and round in circles.
Okay.
And I wouldn't tell you a word of lie. This people might think this is a joke. After we finished praying, only the good Lord could have told Dusty, go down in the bilge. The Cuban gentleman pulled the pin out of the bilge,
right.
out of the steering, and throw it down the bilge.
So they removed the steering pin so the boat wouldn't be able to steer. You know, they probably got instructions to do that.
Yes, they did, because they know that they were coming back for us.
They were coming back for them. That's right. So they deliberately removed the steering pin and drop it into the bilge. Now, people need to know what the bilge is.
Unknown to us, because I don't know how Dusty was able to figure that out.
But we need our listening audience to understand what's going on here, Cladwell. The bilge on a ship is the bottom of the ship. That's where all the grime and watery, oily water slashing about the place, and it's underneath the floorboard. So you can't see the bilge unless you raise floorboards and look under the bilge.
Right.
And Dusty Miller, being the astute engineer, and he knew that something was wrong with the steering.
Yeah.
And after that prayer, he was able to track that steering pin down, which was actually in the bilge of the captured craft.
Yeah. I credit Dusty for saving our lives, help saving our lives, I should say.
Yes, because after that, I mean, the ship was able to steer, but based on your book, those Cubans came back again, and based on what Commander Amos Roll was saying, they lit up the skies, and you could have seen the key.
Because at this time, it was dark.
It was dark, and they were looking for you guys.
So he told us to darken the ship, to put on no lights. So Dusty had those Cuban cigarettes. You know, they're strong.
They're strong, but he had to keep smoking so that they can see.
Blowing out.
They could see the course on the compass.
Right.
And keep heading north.
So when all the cigarettes gone, and Kirby had to use his computerized watch.
Thank goodness we had a battery operated watch but had a light.
Yeah.
And we used that until that died.
And this time now we haven't eaten anything.
Wow. So everybody hungry and distraught. You have 4 men you didn't find, and I know you searched for them until it got too dark to search any further.
But the thing about it, you know, I thank God we didn't lay a hand on those prisoners, you know.
Well, yeah, that's. But you know, you can't really lay hands on them and help you in this situation.
No.
And that's good. That's a good thing, because boy, if they was in some other country, they probably would have gotten killed right there because of what was happening. So yeah. Well, Cladwell, that is a very good roundup. I know there's more to say, especially after you eventually got to Ragged Island, and those MiGs came again and wreaked havoc on Ragged Island. I read all this in your book.
Yeah, let's take a call for a minute, a couple calls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to open up the line, and then we'll keep going.
All right.
Producer?
Yes.
The call-in number again, 826 326-8255. 326-8255. That's the call-in number. The lines are now open, but Cladwell and I will continue to go on if there's no calls, because as you can see, this is a very, very sobering, very, very informative, educational discussion we engaging. So Cladwell, the lines are not lit up. Let's just keep going. Okay, so you were all on board. You're heading now north. The cigarettes are all gone. The watch, I understand, eventually lasted only so long. And okay, I get one call. I'm going to get to that call in a minute. And then they resort to striking matches. Good thing those Cuban boats had plenty matches with those cigarettes. And that way, okay, the call is gone again. And that way, you were able to continue seeing the compass because Commander Roll had ordered that they darken ship.
Right.
Is what I read in your book. They darken ship, and I've been in many situations. I've been in many situations where we actually darken ship because we don't want anybody to know we're there. And we sneak upon many ships. That means you turn off all the lights.
Every day.
And you using cardboard to block off the instrument lights on the bridge so that, nobody can see any light. Okay, so we got a call coming in. Let me just see who this caller is, Cladwell. 1 second. Caller, thank you for calling Maritime Matters.
Yes, good night, Captain Ben. Good night.
Good night,
sir. One of your former crew members, in the person of Jeffrey Jockey Brown.
Jockey Brown, my good friend, engineer extraordinaire. Jockey, you ever worked with Dusty Miller?
Dusty, yes, I worked with Dusty on HMBS Marlin. We were in the workshop, mechanical workshop together.
Right.
Made many trips out to sea. I just want to start off by, first and foremost, paying my respect to you for doing such an excellent job.
I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. When I joined the job back in 1985, you was the captain on HMBS
Inagua. That's right. And we did some times together, and we faced some situations too, man. Go ahead, boss. Go ahead. God.
So did a sea. Terrence, Float, and the rest of the crew. As my brother Farrington, and I want to say good night to you, Farry, and I'm coming to you. But as you was describing the incident, I just picture in my mind. I visualize every step of that journey. But what I want to say hats off to guys like yourself and the entire crew of HMBS Flamingo, the survivors, and even the ones that, gave their lives in the line of duty.
That's right.
Because if it wasn't for guys like you, you paved the way for us. And I just want to say thank you, Brother Farrington. We talk in the group chat a lot, but I want to publicly say thanks to you and the crew members for, paving the way, being a pace setter. And Captain Ben, you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you, Brother Jockey. Yeah, well, I'll hang up and let Cladwell respond, but thank you very much for that very good call.
Yes, sir.
Curtin.
Yes, Brother Cladwell, I trust you was able to hear what was going on there?
Yeah, I heard him.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, but a lot of people out there, Cladwell, a lot of people out there don't even, like I mentioned in my last show, I didn't even know when I met you after I came back from Dartmouth that you was one of the survivors of the Flamingo incident. And you and many, many others, people served with me on 60-footers, on Marlin, on 108, and I didn't even know that they were like Leo Kirby. I didn't know he was on the Marlin when it was destroyed, So, yeah, man, hats off to you guys.
Mr. Ben.
Yes, sir.
The sad thing about this, right? We was at the base, and 2 weeks after this incident happened, they put us on another boat, and that boat sank, caught a fire with us.
That's right, the Sansal. I read that where Roger Roll was the captain, and Roger Roll was one of my captains at some point when we got the 108 support Nelson. A very, very knowledgeable, very good captain, knows his crew, gets command and respect from his crew. And yeah, it was so in such a poor taste for them to send you guys back out to sea, even in the next 3-4 years. I don't think after an incident like that, you should have been faced with going back out to sea at all, in my opinion, Yeah. And most of you stayed on the job. OB retired. I remember when you left and you went to Bahamas there, and I would have seen you, and the only thing I knew was, that's Farry, man. He used to be on a job. He's now, because I used to lose a lot of baggage on Bahamas, and I would always call you to rescue me. So and you went there, and I didn't know at the time that you went there, but you was part of that Flamingo crew. John Wallace left and he went to the port department and worked on the tugboats, and I went to the port department and I worked as deputy port controller. And again, he and I in the same area, because John Wallace spent plenty of years on the sea with me. We spent plenty of years on the sea on those 60-footers, and I never knew that he was one of those that was involved in that film. Because, and people say, well, so what if you didn't know? if I had known, I would have treated them with so much different type of respect, because everybody would not understand what it's like to go through what you guys, only you guys know. No other Bahamian can say they were attacked by a military power during peacetime in the Bahamas while they are doing regular government work. It never happened, probably never will happen again.
I told some young students who was up here, I think a Rangers program, and I tell them, if you watch the war in Ukraine and you see those MiG jets, that's the same type planes with sank us.
That's right. Those are Russian-made MiG jets.
You hear the sound of those.
Yeah, you will know that there's a warplane in the area, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are headed to Ragged, headed north, and eventually you get there around 1 o'clock in the morning, that same night.
1 or 2, I think.
Yeah, between 1 and 2. And
luckily, Kirby and Wallace, they knew the area.
John Wallace and Leo Kirby, they from Ragged Island, so they knew how to get to the town, eh?
They took us to, we was bare feet, so those rocks was sharp,
But see, that's another thing. People may think you in your military attire, dry, and just come to go for what? No, you're bare feet, you're bareback in some cases, and you gotta, in the middle of the night, trying to tread your way from the sea.
A strange place.
From the sea, because it ain't like you have no dock. You gotta walk through the water.
Right.
And then you gotta find a way to get to the town, walking through bush.
And with prisoners too.
And with 8 prisoners. So how did that go?
We was able to struggle through, and we got to the police station.
Right.
And this policeman, I had to write his name down.
Yes.
No one mentioned him other than in the book.
Uh-huh.
The Charles Roll.
Charles Roll. Was he from Ragged Island though?
No, I don't think he was from there.
Most of the Rolls are from Exuma.
He was stationed there. Yeah, I think he's from Exuma, because look at his mustache. Those Rolls have those.
Yes, those Rolls.
But he was kind, helpful, and he was brave too.
Very good. So Amos probably would have been able to relate to one another very well, because both of them would have been from Exuma.
They knew one another.
Right.
So at this time we couldn't communicate, because there was no phones in the area. But he was able to wake up the gentleman, and the gentleman was able to send the Morse code to Nassau.
Right. So, I found in my experiences on the sea, on the patrol boats, that when you're a good distance away from Nassau, during the nighttime, it is extremely difficult to make communication. I don't know why. You get clarity in the day, boy, but when night comes, it's so difficult to make that communication with the Coral Harbor base.
Mm-hmm. So thank God for Morse
code. So you use Morse code, but Morse code. I did Morse code when I was at Dartmouth. Morse code.
We used to do it too, but if you're not continuing doing it,
if you don't do it on a routine basis, you start to lose it. That's right.
So we could have managed it, but after a while, it just go from you.
That's right. So you were able to get that message by Morse code to Nassau.
And there's a gentleman, Keyshawn Monroe. He
Keyshawn
wrote a book
Monroe.
also, and he was able to locate the Morse code we sent.
Wow. Yeah, is that the gentleman who did all the paintings?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some beautiful paintings, and he did some serious research.
The Morse code is still his history.
Yeah, he did some serious research.
And he is the man the government need to honor, and he interviewed every one of us.
That's right.
So,
That's
Dusty. He interviewed Dusty, and Dusty showed him his bloody shape still was in his closet.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Still in his closet.
Yeah, I hope that is preserved, because things like that, we need to put in a museum. Eventually, we need to really put some things together while some of you guys are still with us. Because eventually, all of us will be gone from the face of the earth, and people will only hear about these things.
Mr. Barnes, suppose I didn't write the book.
Exactly.
No one attempted to write the book.
Nobody wrote a book. And, it ain't never too late. So fortunate that you guys were not all wiped off the scene, because, in some cases, they could have just destroyed the entire...
that was the intent.
They were coming back. If they couldn't get those guys off that boat, they probably just destroyed the whole boat with all of you on board. They didn't want the message to get out, eh?
Yeah. Came back Sunday morning, while church was going on, and terrorized the town.
Right. And then there was a situation where, we got 10 minutes left. I think we better run. We better run to another break.
I'm going quickly, eh?
Yeah, but you could finish up that thought. You went to church, but people were trying to go to church because it was Mother's Day morning on Sunday the 11th, eh?
Yes.
It was Mother's Day morning, and those mix came back.
I think the Commodore.
Yeah, Commodore William Swinley.
And the Commissioner of Police.
Commissioner Salachel Thompson.
Yeah, they came down.
They came down to Inagua with a charter plane.
And they was able to communicate with the United States. The United States called their base, Guantanamo Bay, and they sent 2 F-15s.
Right. Oh, when they saw the F-15s, that's what caused them to panic, yeah.
The Cubans had to evacuate that area. And they sent a base in but I never forget it. They sent the slowest plane in the world to pick us up, a DC-3.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have any Learjets right then, man. And they needed something that could take everybody, the 8 plus the 15.
Yeah, my Lord.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Looking out there, see if any jets coming at us.
Okay. We got another call on the line, Cladwell. Let me just answer this real quick, and then we'll move to a break. Caller, you're live on Maritime Matters. Hello.
Yes, good evening, Captain Bain. This is Captain Bain.
Captain Brain, Herbie, my good buddy. I thought you was going to let me down tonight. I am so happy to be hearing from you, man. Go right ahead, my friend.
I am so honored, and I just want to say to Cladwell Farrington, I didn't get an opportunity to meet you. I joined the Defense Force. I actually joined on 19th of January, 1984. And I had the distinct pleasure of serving with a number of your colleagues from the Flamingo, namely Dusty Miller, Eugene Blue Thompson. At one point, Leo Kirby was on my boat as a cook. And then, I served with you, Glenn. And
you better remember John Wallace.
I served on Marlin. When I first came back from England, I actually was a navigating officer on Marlin. So a lot of the previous crew members, over the years, I have served with. And I feel particularly honored to now just to say hello to you, Brother Farrington, and to tell you that, you and that esteemed group, you deserve every recognition that this country could throw after you guys, because I'm really choked up because I just can't imagine the horror that you guys will have faced. But we thank you from the depths of our heart for your service to this country, and we continue to pray your strength and your family's strength, and Glenn, this whole business of service, we have to take this thing to another level, because service is a big thing, and like you say, we have to honor those who represent us, whether in sports and everything else, and appreciate people give them their roses while they're living.
Indeed, my brother. Indeed. Well said. And I'll add to that we need the reparations to be stable, steady, established, and people need to be compensated. Because if I'm out to sea and I think there's a drug boat and these guys are firing weapons back at me, I could take 2 approaches. I could say, look here, I could deal with these fellas. I don't care. I might get killed, but I got to deal with them. Or I may take the approach that some may take and say, boy, I ain't the same way that I can't put my life. What happened to my children and my family? If these fellas missing one of these bullets and shoot me now, that's it. Suppose the police take that approach. Suppose the nurses take that approach. See, we need to make sure that people know if something happened to them in the line of duty, their families will be well taken care of. And asking $1 million a person is peanuts. That's my view.
I absolutely agree with you, because a lot of things we can't really even discuss. But we've had more than one. We've had buzzing subsequent to that, and we've had some near misses. We've had some shootouts and with some bad people and the like. And you're absolutely correct. When you're taken away as the breadwinner for your family and in service to your country, there's no price tag you really can put on that. So I agree with you 1,000,000%.
And this is a daily thing that the police face. Daily, especially in these times when the criminals, they carrying AK-47, which even the police bulletproof vest can't stop. Come on, man. Why would a police want to risk his life? And he know that he's the breadwinner for his family, and if he dies, yes, they're gonna get a little couple dollars, but is that gonna take care of his family the way he would have taken care of them? No.
Well, I agree with you, but I would want to keep it maritime because at the end of the day, you know something, the most difficult job in the world, even if you're not being shot at, is going to sea and being out there in those elements and whatnot. And so, hey, those are both difficult occupations, but I keep it in maritime. The sea is the most difficult occupation bar none.
Well, you know, we could keep it maritime and even talk to people on cruise ships who have to do safety drills and all that. But Herbie, we trying to keep it real in our country when it comes to people working for the state, losing their life in the process of working for the state and not getting any reparation. That is what I'm looking at.
Oh, of course, and like I said, I agree with you 100%. And you know, I just think that it's going to take. I'm not sure what it's going to take, Glenn, to get the appropriate folks to see and buy into this vision of taking care of our own and taking care of people who are making those sacrifices. But you know something, I'm committed, like you are, and continuing the struggle, continuing to push as often and as much as we can to make the voices heard in other circles where it need to be heard.
Yes, sir. I must remember Nice Lund and Melinda Pratt and many more other police and defense force persons being faced with this type of thing. Let me get back to Cladwell and Brother Herbie and get his response. Thank you very much for calling.
Yeah, thank you, Cladwell, and you guys have a wonderful evening. Great show.
Thank you. Hey, Clady. Brother Farrington, are you still there? Oh, sorry, Cladwell. Yeah, no, I didn't press the line. The court to bring you back in. My apologies. Yeah, I don't know if you want to make a response to what Herbie had to say, but we ain't taking no more breaks, so we let's keep talking.
Yeah, well, I wrote to 3 prime ministers already.
Oh, really?
I wrote to Minister Brave Davis. Prime Minister Brave Davis. I haven't got a response from him yet. I'm waiting patiently. I think he's a good man.
He's a good man, and I'm sure that response is coming, my friend.
He's going to respond to me. You know.
But it's going to take more than just you, more than just the Flamingo survivors, more than just the defense force. We need our nation to support this cause because on a daily basis, people are being faced with losing their life in the line of duty. Mm-hmm. And we don't want it to get to the stage where people start thinking twice. Say, boy, I could do that, but if I do that and I get hurt or I get injured or I get killed, what's going to happen to my family? They need to know that what's going to happen to my family is they're going to have $1 million to continue taking care of all of the things that I was bringing to the table. And $1 million today may be $5 million tomorrow. $1 million today may have been $500,000 yesterday, but we need to have reparation that is, tantamount to keeping things going the way they were going when the breadwinner loses their life while waiting for the state.
Mr. Bain, he's still waiting for a psychological checkup. He ain't get that yet.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, and like I was saying in my last show, Cladwell. Some of those people, and we got 2 minutes left. My goodness, we need another half hour. Mr. Producer, he can't help me. Okay.
Can I help you?
No, the producer can't help me. This is the next half hour we need. But some people who were involved in that Flamingo incident, I worked very closely with. I know very well, and I can see that something was wrong. But until I found out that it didn't click. It didn't come together. But now that I know, I realized that those guys was negatively impacted. They were impacted in a way that they just couldn't normally live the way they would have lived if they were not faced with death. You looking death in the eye. Yeah. And you at the mercy of military power who could wipe you out in a flash. So it's not a normal thing. And Cladwell, in this last 1 minute, let me just thank you. Not only for writing that book.
Let me just play this sound for you.
All right, sir. Go right ahead.
The song I wrote.
Right. That is so beautiful. That is so... Cladwell, I need you to give me a copy of that, man. I need to put that in my list of stuff that needs to play for
And
the
you can
Flamenco
go on
people.
YouTube.
Okay.
Punch it, Mayday, Cladwell Farrington, or Cladwell Farrington, Mayday.
Very good, very good.
I just was putting some words together, and I just said, let me try record a script so I wouldn't forget it.
Straight from the heart, my brother. You couldn't have done it any better.
But I really appreciate you, Mr. Bang, but I hope somebody will hear this tonight and will remember us, man. Compensation.
Well, thank you for what you did for us. Thank you for keeping us, aware of some of the things that are going on. And we're going to continue this fight, my friend. You're going to have a lot of people behind you with this fight. So just remain steadfast, and it shall happen. And again, thank you very much for joining me on Maritime Matters.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Love 97. Thank you, Bahamas.
And good night, Bahamas.
My family and friends, my good friends, Cladwell and all those, my brothers and sisters. My daughter who's recording this for me.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good
Right
night.
too.
Good night, Bahamas. You better call the wife. Good night, Bahamas.
All right.
All right.